What is going on out there, world? It's your boy Tommy on the spot, and we are back here on Watchalong Wrestling for our second live stream match, live reaction, whatever you call it, for the Elimination Chamber. Kofi is coming down the ring, and we are getting ready for the men's Elimination Chamber match. Before we get there, though, let's recap what you may have missed, I guess, from the last match that we went through, which was the Women's Tag Team Championship Money in the Bank, Money in the Bank Elimination Chamber match that saw Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Bayley become the first ever Women's Tag Team Championships. This led to the team of Shane McMahon and The Miz defending their Tag Team Championships against the Usos. Crowd chanting Kofi. Crowd is getting into it as Kofi is entering the ring. And so Shane McMahon and The Miz fought the Usos, probably, and I'd say probably the best of the remaining matches of the evening, at least in my opinion. Did a deal where Shane McMahon did the elbow drop off the top rope and threw a table on the outside, laying out one of the Usos. However, in doing so, he was taken out of the match. Miz ended up losing the match and losing the tag championship. So the Usos become tag team champions. And, of course, this is right after all of the legal issues for Jimmy Uso happened over the past week, but didn't seem to matter. Usos, your tag team champions. You figure they're leading to Shane McMahon and The Miz, and this is just the next logical step. I'm sure they'll get a rematch, and who knows what will happen from there. So we'll see. But from there, we had a second title change of the evening, as you had Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush defending the Intercontinental Championship in a handicap match against Finn Balor. Finn got the win and won the title by defeating Lio Rush. So now they set up the deal where he won the Intercontinental Championship, but did so without having to beat Bobby Lashley. So obviously that sets up the rematch, you'd assume, in a one-on-one match. After the match, Bobby laid out Lio Rush. I was kind of bummed by that because I think Leo's really added a lot to Bobby's character. And it seems like they kind of split those two apart. So you can kind of see that coming. That's why you make it a handicap match. Kind of is what it is, as Jeff Hardy is entering the ring right now. From there, they did a deal where it was Ronda Rousey versus Ruby Riott. Standard fare. Ronda destroyed Ruby. I told you it was just a showcase to show off the person who's going to WrestleMania. Ronda's the person going to WrestleMania. Ruby isn't. Would have liked Ruby to get a little more in, but she was basically laid out by Ronda. That was that. This led to Charlotte getting in the ring. Big face-off between her and Ronda. Becky hobbles down with the crutches. And look at Jeff's eyes there, looking super white. Contacts as Randy Orton's making his way in the ring now. So Becky came out. This was the big angle of the show. Becky came out on crutches. Looked like she was really hobbling to get in. Charlotte's kind of laughing at her, saying she's pathetic. Becky takes the crutches, destroys Charlotte. Then Ronda's kind of just watching. She's kind of liking it. Becky hands a crutch to Ronda. Looks like the two of them are going to double team and get rid of and just destroy Charlotte together. But second that, Ronda turns her back on Becky, and she was trepidatious about doing that, but she does eventually turn her back on Becky. Once she does, Becky starts to level her with the crutch, starts beating her down with the crutch. Then she starts beating Charlotte down with the crutch, and Becky walks away. Crowd's going nuts. Becky gets handcuffed and taken out by security. Very, very reminiscent of the old Stone Cold Steve Austin promos. All we were missing was for Becky to kind of just lean her head back and say, I ain't through with you. I ain't through with you, not by a long shot. So it was very similar to the Austin deal there. And this is not the first comparison you'd go between the two. But effective nonetheless. I also like that 15 years after they did the homage of having Eddie Guerrero versus Brock Lesnar for the title with Goldberg at ringside, that kind of brought it back full circle tonight by having Charlotte sit ringside for Ronda's match with Ruby. So that was good. And, that was definitely the biggest angle on the show. This led to Baron Corbin and Braun Strowman. I told you guys on the on kind of my preview of the thing that I hoped this was going to be the end of this feud and that Braun would finally move on to bigger and better things and something more for WrestleMania. That did not happen. Instead, it was actually a really highly competitive match. Looked like Strowman had the win, and then finally McIntyre and Lashley ended up showing up, attacked Strowman, destroyed him, hit him with chairs, ended up setting up a big powerbomb spot where Lashley powerbombed. They did kind of the shield powerbomb to Strowman through the tables And then Strowman, after he was put through the tables, Corbin got the win. Pinned him clean, middle of the ring. And that is it. So here comes AJ Styles, which means that we're going to get started here on, it's going to end up being Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan, the new Daniel Bryan, going for that big match and that Elimination Chamber match. So they'll be getting us started here. We know that Randy Orton is coming in last, and we'll see how they fill it out. What have you guys thought of the show so far, other than the Chamber match earlier tonight?
It's pretty good for the tag match. Women's match felt too short.
Felt like the bull. I feel like
it was fast. It was supposed to be fast, but it was too fast.
Yeah, I agree. It was a little fast. I also felt I don't think either of the matches really meant all that much in the long run, other than the Chamber. Yeah. Right. This felt much like a transitional show. What do you think, June? Did you like the other matches?
Yeah, it was all right.
Definitely felt like we were waiting here between Chamber matches for the next Chamber match. So I'll ask you guys, who do you guys got here in the next Chamber match, in this world title match here?
Probably Bryan or maybe Samoa Joe.
Okay.
Maybe.
June, you got a choice here? A pick?
I want Kofi to win, but I don't think he's going to. I think Daniel Bryan will win.
Yeah, I'm thinking Daniel Bryan retains, though I will say it would be cool if they went with a hot hand. As I said on my preview, if they went with Kofi, he's the hot hand right now. He's the guy everyone's excited about. The crowd's chanting Kofi there. The crowd's really into him. And last year we had a deal where, same situation with Rollins, and Rollins didn't even make it to the final two. So
yeah,
hopefully we'll get a situation here where Kofi does it. Joe is looking like a badass. I will say your pick of Joe does have I feel like until Kofi, Joe had quite a bit of momentum coming in this match. So it would be cool to see Joe get a bit of a push here and finally get a big win and solidify himself as a world champion. He right now feels like the guy who always gets to this spot and then just never gets it done. I'm not sure. I don't remember the last big match win he's gotten in WWE. I can't even think of it off the top of my head.
Last thing I remember was probably in NXT.
And NXT, yeah.
That's what I can remember. Unless something was missing.
I thought they would have brought Harper back to be that sixth man instead of Kofi, and have it be before Kofi was announced. Have Harper there and have that be the way that Bryan keeps the belt. Bryan's got a mic. He's just Rowan now. And Rowan, by the way, is looking more and more like a member of like a grunge band each and every week with that flannel. Great flannel, by the way. Who was that?
Duck Dynasty.
Duck Dynasty, yes. They're much, yeah, very good.
So if the title does change hands, do they have to hold up that belt?
That might be the end of the hemp belt. That's one of the reasons I don't think it's going to change hands. But it would be something now if both championship matches in the Chamber ended with the guy who starts the Chamber, the first entrant, running the table, which will have to happen here with Bryan too.
First in the Elimination Chamber, Fickle!
Oh, Fickle. The crowd is doing what, which just recently turned 18 years old. Oh, they're getting rid of Rowan. Come on. Oh, Bryan's yelling no at the official. Bryan is just great. Crowd doing a big yes chant. So now they're doing the yes in spite of Bryan again. Bryan now with the mic kind of on his...
I don't want you people to call me a martyr, but I am suffering for the greater good.
This is a great little deal here. Great promo.
For all of the small-minded people, just repeat one stupid phrase over and over again. It reminds me
Oh my God.
there is still hope. Because you people need me. And the planet needs me.
Wow.
And there is still hope that the new Daniel Bryan will raise this beautiful championship and still be the WWE.
Something tells me Bryan might get knocked out the second he gets in the ring here, which would really suck. But what a promo as he's calling the crowd out for saying the same phrase over and over, and all the crowd is doing is just chanting what and what and what. And as he's doing it, Bryan's going from a crouched down position to standing up tall and then going up the steps. Unbelievable stuff. The new Daniel Bryan continues to impress, and just done really great in this role.
It's a preemptive decision. It's the elimination chamber. It's not like he's going to climb inside.
Anyone you guys specifically don't want to see win?
Keep everybody else out. What's the purpose of Rowan Bader ringside in the first place?
Randy would be.
He won it last Mania.
He won it last Mania?
Oh, no, not last Mania. The Mania before.
Right. Was he on the last show last year?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Maybe he was on like.
Oh, he was. He was in the U.S. title match.
Oh, that gender one.
But at this point, it's like when he was on, I don't know.
He's old, yeah. I gotta be honest. I wouldn't. I don't want to see AJ Styles win either. He won the title. Had the title for over a year.
It's either Bryan retaining or like maybe Joe winning because he hasn't really had anything so far.
Kofi would be cool too. So we're getting a kind of a throwback match here. Samoa Joe and Daniel Bryan, a little flashback to their days way early on in Ring of Honor. Samoa Joe calling Daniel Bryan in the ring, smacking down the mat. We are slightly delayed. Right now, I don't know if this match is still going on. It's just hit 11 o'clock on the East Coast. No idea how far back we were. When did we start the show? 8:30-ish? On 8:30. Bryan running around the ring. Daniel Bryan wants the clock to run so that somebody else can eventually get in the ring. Daniel Bryan has been in a couple different Elimination Chamber matches. He won the Chamber match in 2012, a really underrated Chamber match, which he won by final with his last elimination, if I'm not mistaken, against Santino Marella, which was really, really good stuff, believe it or not. Now a kick to Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe kind of just laughing off Bryan as Bryan kicks Samoa Joe and now catches Bryan's leg. And now, with a kick of his own right to the back of Bryan's left leg. Another one, but Bryan catches it. Samoa Joe rolls through, though, and now has him down in an ankle lock. Bryan teasing, tapping. If he does, might throw this laptop, which would be disappointing because my wife would wake up and be very unhappy at me doing that. Thankfully, Bryan got to the bottom rope, so we don't have to worry about that. Samoa Joe with rights to Bryan. Bryan gets Samoa Joe and puts him into the corner. Now kind of waiting there and a big chop to Joe, and Joe just stares Bryan down and starts walking it back as Bryan is praying him off and jumps out of the ring, running around the corner, running around, waiting for Samoa Joe. Joe gets outside the ring now, both men to the outside of the ring. Ooh, a big chop from Joe, and another chop from Joe. Another chop. Chops as Bryan backs up into the chain link fence before getting down to a crouch position to the outside.
Through the chest of Daniel Bryan.
Samoa Joe picks up Bryan, but Bryan flips out over his shoulder. Bryan gets up for a Hurricane Rana, but Joe with the power bomb into a pinning combination. Ref stutters. Samoa Joe turns him over into a Boston Crab, and Bryan looks like he's struggling. And Joe into a crossface. Wall still has the leg hooked. Now directly into a crippler crossface. A little awkward there, isn't it not? But yes, he does have him in the crippler. Now he goes and he pulls back the other arm on there, really twerking that back and working out Bryan there. Bryan in a rough hold, but Bryan grabs the leg and Samoa Joe kicks out. It has to release the hold. Bryan drop kick to the lower knee of Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe holding his knee in pain now as Bryan is kind of holding him over and now throws Samoa Joe to the outside. Bryan goes to stalk him on the outside. Now throws Joe into the post, which has been the spot of the day here on this chamber. This is the third or fourth time that's happened on the show. Now Bryan getting back into the ring. Goes for a cover. Samoa Joe kicks out at 1. Big chop from Bryan. And another chop from Joe. Takes Bryan down now. Does Joe with that chop. Joe's chest beat red, though, from Bryan's chops. Now Joe picking up Daniel Bryan. Now big headbutt to Bryan as Bryan staggers back. Huge kick to Bryan's chest. Huge kick to the back of Bryan. And another stiff kick by Joe. A right hand to the front head of Bryan as Bryan starts to get back to his feet. A huge chop to the chest of Samoa Joe. Oh, my God. That one was brutal. Bryan's neck looks beat red right now. Joe's just leveling Bryan. Now Joe taking Bryan over and pulling him into the corner. Now Joe down into the second turnbuckle there as Bryan starts to get up. Joe holding his teeth. Looks like he's checking his teeth. Hope he didn't lose a tooth there. Bryan getting back up. Big kick to the midsection of Joe as the countdown starts. 6 seconds, 5 seconds until another entry gets up. Bryan goes back and starts to look around to see who's coming in next. No, Randy's last. Randy's last. Yeah, he won that.
Oh, no, it's
Kofi. Little bump, bump. Here we go. And Kofi Kingston in. Big kick to the face of Samoa Joe. Kofi up. Catches Bryan with an axe handle off the top rope over Joe. Comes around, does Kofi. Oh, trying to go for a DDT, but Joe catches him, puts him up over his shoulder. Kofi into the back. Kofi outside the second rope. Catches Joe with a kick to the face, climbs to the top rope as Joe staggers back to his feet. Oh, big time splash. 1, 2, I don't think so. Joe kicks out at 2. But a nice little frog splash from Kofi to the back of Samoa Joe, laying out Joe. Now Bryan picking up Kofi, dropping him down on the top rope. Big New Day Rocks chant from the crowd here in Houston. Daniel Bryan now getting up to the top rope. Big knee, and Kofi flips over. 2 count from Bryan. A little nervous here in the room here after that. Big knee to the back of the neck there of Kofi. Now Joe again is staring down Bryan as Bryan's backing up into the corner, and oh my God, that hurt me, and I'm all the way here in New York. Big chop from Samoa Joe, flings Bryan down to the turnbuckle. Bryan now running away from Joe all the way up to the top of the pod. He's just going to hang out there and wait, and I wouldn't be shocked if he waited there for a little while. And yes, Daniel Bryan now sitting Indian style, cross-legged, on the top of the pod. Waiting everything out as now Kofi and Joe battle in the corner. Joe with a big chop to Kofi. Kofi backs up. Another chop as Kofi backs up. Now Kofi all the way up to the top of the pod where Bryan's sitting. Bryan is begging him off. Great camera shot there. How do they get that? They have a cameraman all the way up there?
Oh no, they have the like those cameras are like.
Oh, they're on the boom cameras.
Yeah. Those cameras are kind of like you see floating around.
Yeah.
Like the crowd stand.
Oh yes, good call.
Yeah, it's one of those. It'd be funny to have a cameraman on.
Like he's just hanging there.
That's what they had at the World's Collide game.
Really?
It's like some really tall thing.
So Bryan has now been taken off the pod by Kofi. Kofi now still scaling the side of that cage, kicking Samoa Joe down there. Now what is Kofi doing? Oh! Trust fall off the top. Close to the top of where the chain link fence was. Trust fall knocks down both Joe and Bryan. Kofi is the guy that the crowd is solidly behind here. Even the youngster they just showed wearing that some AJ Styles shirt.
to risk it all.
Really good slow-mo replay there. 2 count on Bryan from Kofi.
Too long for too hard to turn back now. Too hard for too long. We know what you're trying to say. I'm just excited.
More New Day Rocks chants coming from the crowd here. Kofi pulling Joe over. And he only gets a 2 count. Oh, big uppercut from Daniel Bryan.
Kingston, but now 3 superstars in the ring thus far.
Now Kofi Kingston goes up against Daniel Bryan. Bryan knocks down Kofi. Over him. Leapfrog by Kofi over Bryan. A back leapfrog and a big flying elbow to the front of Daniel Bryan's face. Knocks him down. Does that back elbow from Kofi. Kofi showing a little frustration. He thought he had him.
If any one of these superstars can eliminate Daniel Bryan from this match early, that
Now Samoa Joe and Kofi going at it. Big backsplash from Joe. A senton on top of Daniel Bryan. Now Joe goes to pick up Kofi. Snap suplex. Only for 2 again.
Take another look at this massive senton. Look at the height.
Ooh, right onto the hip of Daniel Bryan with that senton.
Crashing down onto the WWE champion.
Now Samoa Joe going over, picking up Bryan.
Now Samoa Joe, who can lay into the WWE champion.
The last one, they didn't have all of them in the ring at once, right? One of them was taken out. The Carmella and Naomi, I think, were.
Oh, they went last year. I
Oh, no.
I remember Elimination Chamber last year.
I think Styles won.
No.
It is AJ Styles. Here he comes.
Wait, I don't think they have any.
No, they did, I think. Yeah, they did, because that's when they had that Rollins match, and Rollins went the distance. Big clothesline from Styles to Joe, and now Daniel Bryan and AJ going at it. Big slap from Daniel Bryan to the face of AJ Styles. AJ firing back with another slap. Punches, and now exchanging rights and lefts are Daniel Bryan and AJ in the corner. AJ whips Daniel Bryan off the rope. Bryan reverses, throws AJ into the corner. Big elbow drop from AJ Styles. AJ climbing up. Moonsault. It catches Bryan for... Oh, wow. Just hits a double DDT, reverse DDT on Bryan with a standard DDT, driving Kofi down. AJ turns Kofi over for 1-2, but Kofi kicks out. Joe seen on the outside collecting himself a bit. Yeah, last year wasn't it Reigns over Strowman,
Yeah,
Rollins, Cena, Elias, and someone else?
Yep. And the Chamber.
Ray was the year before, and he won it.
Oh, the Chamber had there was an extra participant, so it started with 3.
Oh, really?
It was The Miz, Seth Rollins, and Finn Balor started it.
Ah.
The rest were John Cena, Roman Reigns, and Braun Strowman.
And Elias. Forearm smash to Samoa Joe. And Bryan's now, he's kind of climbing again over to just kind of scaling the cage there, the chain link fence. Bryan, though. AJ with a phenomenal forearm while to the back of the neck of Bryan while Bryan was hanging on the fence. Takes Bryan down to the outside. And he caught him good, did AJ. Big flying forearm to the back of the neck of AJ Styles.
If you're ready to open Jeff Hardy, you are watching on right now, enjoying every second.
AJ with a big sunset flip to Kofi. Gets him up and trying to catch him for a AJ Styles clash, but Kofi with a kick to the face of AJ. He saw it was coming. Off the ropes goes Kingston. Caught by AJ. Into the knee to the back of the neck. 1, 2. Oh, no, but he kicks out.
Samoa Joe now looks like he's regaining his wits for the moment. 4 superstars thus far have entered. You know, there's a long
Looks like we got Jeff Hardy and obviously Randy Orton still out there. doing their thing, ready to come into the chamber next.
Emotional turmoil in the personal life of AJ Styles.
Now AJ getting ready to throw Samoa Joe into that chain link fence. Joe, though, with a reversal and throws AJ and then the back body drop back into the ring. Goes Joe.
Samoa Joe using the environment wisely.
Now Joe picks up Kofi Kingston. Forearm to Kofi. Forearm from Kingston. Now Kingston with big kicks, big rights. Leveling Samoa Joe right and left. Oh, gets a big time bear hug, does Samoa Joe, onto Kofi Kingston. And if this is it, and he links it, and he gets in down that, but Kofi rolls through. Oh, but Joe folds right over. I thought we were getting the Stone Cold Bret Hart finish from Survivor Series 96. But Joe back up, rolled out of it, still has the sleeper on, and now drops with a neck breaker on Joe. Phenomenal forearm from AJ. Is that it? 2. What the heck? Samoa Joe's gone. That sucks.
Not getting a chance.
God damn. Samoa Joe is like, man, he doesn't get anything going here. First guy eliminated again. Feels like it's always Joe, just always takes the big fall. And here it comes. It's going to be, well, I don't want to ruin it here, but we know who the next guy is going to be because the last guy is Randy Orton. So this has to be one Jeff Hardy. Yeah, I know. We know who it's going to be.
I never could have guessed.
Yeah. Here comes Jeff here, going right after AJ Styles. Crowd with a big delete chant. Jeff picks up axe handle down to on AJ. Oh, big double drop kick to the groin there of AJ Styles. Goes for a cover, but only a 2 count. Oh, shin breaker there from Jeff Hardy, and now spinning kick to Daniel Bryan. A kick to Kofi now. Goes for a suplex. Oh, into a face buster from Jeff. Now Kofi getting up and Jeff utilizing his back to do this whisper in the wind. Vintage Hardys as Jeff takes out Daniel Bryan on the outside. Now Jeff going and climbing over again, now going for deletes. Feels like Jeff isn't long for this match. He's coming in like Fist of Fury. Bicycle kick from AJ. Did I just call it and end Jeff's run already? We'll say crowd seemed a little disappointed to see Joe go so early too. Yeah. Here we were thinking he was going to be have a chance to win.
Either win or top 2.
Yeah. Bryan throws Kofi into the chain link. Again, throwing Kofi into that post now. Ooh, not sure what happened because the camera missed it, but looked like Hardy looks like he got tossed into one of the pods by AJ as Daniel throws Kofi into the chain link on the opposite side of the ring. Now Jeff and AJ on the top rope. Kicks. Back kicks and back elbows there from Jeff. Oh! That looked ugly. Both men fell at the same time. Hardy landed on his feet, but AJ landed kind of stomach first on the top rope. Eesh, and at the same time, Daniel Bryan is working over the arm of Kingston by the chain link, and now Jeff climbs to the top of that pod. Whoa, what is he doing? Oh, my God! Oh, my God! Oh, Bryan! That's it for Jeff. My God, they had AJ. AJ Styles was down and out on the top rope. Jeff was on the pod. Hit a senton to the back of AJ while AJ was like this on top of the apron. And then the second that Jeff got up from hitting the senton, Bryan came in with the S kick, cleared him out. End of Jeff. Jeff's eliminated. And now Bryan is getting AJ up. And we're down to 3 in the ring. Randy Orton still to come. And now Bryan hanging AJ from the infamous Tree of Woe. Going back, staring at Randy Orton. Drop kick to the face. Missile drop kick as AJ still hanging from the Tree of Woe. Now Daniel Bryan goes over to get Kofi. Daniel Bryan having a hell of a match. Now he's going to hang Kofi from the infamous Tree of Woe. Oh, no. Still AJ trying to get himself back up. Bryan kicking him. AJ on the Tree of Woe. Kofi now perched up on the top rope. Bryan going for a suplex on Kofi while AJ is still underneath him, hanging from the Tree of Woe. But AJ pulls himself back up. Belly to Bryan as Bryan hits a vertical suplex off the top. Now Styles coming through. He pulls himself back up.
Where is he? Oh, phenomenal form to Bryan misses to Kofi.
I think you're right.
That's it.
And that's it for Kofi.
Yep.
And that'd suck. We get down there and it's just Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles, and Randy. But I think you're right. I could see it. Oh, but Randy's coming in.
Oh, that could change.
No, he hasn't done anything.
He's got to eliminate someone somehow.
And here comes Randy Orton. Orton coming in here. And everybody kind of out. Bryan out. He gets up. Big clothesline from Randy Orton. AJ still hanging from the Tree of Woe, finally climbing him back up onto that top rope. Oh, but now he falls back to the Tree of Woe as Orton goes and kicks him. Big clothesline at Kofi knocks him down as well. Now continues to level AJ as he's just still hanging there. This has to be a record for the longest Tree of Woe spot in the history of wrestling. Oh, Kofi and Randy 10 years later. Orton throwing Kofi into AJ, who finally falls off the Tree of Woe. Oh, I thought Randy was going to catch Bryan with an RKO. Instead, Daniel Bryan into a backslide for a 2 count. Orton picks him up. Oh, suplexes Bryan, but drops him directly onto the rope. Front face suplex. And now Kofi with a big drop kick. He's firing up. Drop kick to Orton as Orton falls to a crouch position there. Now AJ and Kofi working it over. AJ takes Kofi down, drops him directly on his knee. All 4 men are down. While I've really enjoyed this match thus far, I will say that it's been disappointing thus far as to the guys who have been eliminated. Especially Jeff hits a great big swanton that you have to see. Go out of your way. That's the spot of the match, probably the spot of the show. Swanton on AJ while he was sprawled out on the top rope. Good stuff. AJ throwing Kofi into the corner. Now AJ really limping there. Back body drop to AJ over the top rope, but AJ catches him with a forearm and now signals for the phenomenal forearm as he's waiting for Kofi to get back up. Calling for it is AJ. Oh! RKO! Off the top. 1, 2, 3. That's it for AJ Styles. And we're down to 3. Randy Orton, Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston. One of these men is winning the title. This was great. AJ got up for the phenomenal forearm. Didn't see Orton. Orton went, caught him, held him, and then did the RKO.
I thought he would have caught him there.
Yeah. It looked like maybe that's what he was supposed to do, and maybe, but it looked real cool. Kofi rose to roll up Orton. 2. Oh, I thought he had him.
RKO, that's it.
Oh, misses the Trouble in Paradise, but goes through. Big kick to Orton. Come on, Kofi. Kofi climbing to the top rope.
Oh, this is what he's getting out.
Oh. Orton takes out his legs. Kofi crouched on the top rope.
Randy versus Danny.
Oh, man. 2013 called Monster Main Event back. Is that Orton pulling Kofi onto the top rope for his delayed Vintage DDT. Boom! Drops Kofi down on the top of his head.
So we might come out around the end, maybe hit something.
There you go. Could be.
Hit anything yet. We get close to it, so we might.
I don't think he has a single elimination, right?
No.
Did he pin Joe? Actually, I don't think so. No. Oh! Snap suplex. Power slam there. Bryan catches. Orton goes for the RKO, buddy. It's the Trouble in Paradise. Does Kofi? 1, 2, 3. We're down to Kofi and Daniel Bryan. And the crowd is now growing. This is exciting stuff here. This is Kofi knocks out Orton, and the crowd is in unison chanting for Kofi. Oh my God, is this going to happen here? After a solid 13 years in the company.
If Jinder Mahal could get it.
That's right. If Jinder can do it, why the hell not, right? Crowd leaping. The great shot of the crowd. Genuine emotion there. Crowd getting up. Be great if he gets up, turns right into a big yes kick, and that's
Oh, no.
well, they're here to me over here. Kofi getting up here. Now Bryan looking around, realizing the only person left is Kofi Kingston. Both guys getting up. And they're going at it hard now. Both guys exchanging rights and lefts in the center of the ring. Great moment there, allowing that moment of the crowd realizing that Kofi is one of the final two. At least giving you a couple of hope spots. Crowd solidly behind Kofi. Kofi is begging Bryan to continue to kick him. And Bryan's going to keep kicking him as Kofi keeps pounding his chest and walking around. Big kick from Kofi, knocks down Bryan. Goes for the trouble, but he misses. Bryan drop kicks down Kofi in the knee. Crowd booing now as they sense that it's coming. Big kicks from Bryan. Look how Daniel Bryan has legitimately turned into a major heel. Unbelievable. Crowd chanting no with every kick. Oh, but Kofi ducks it. SOS. Oh, and the 2 count. Crowd was ready. Wow, this is cool. Thought Kofi had it there. I did. It's like the crowd has sat there all night just to root for Kofi Kingston. Like they didn't care too much about anything else all night long. Kofi and Bryan both getting back up. Kofi goes for splash, but Bryan ducks. Face first on the top rope. Bryan goes and getting back to his feet. Bryan going with a big right to the corner there. I do love the shot of all the Bullet Club fans standing and ready for Kofi there. You can feel the world changing around you right now. Oh, big kick to the midsection. Another kick by Bryan. Another kick by Bryan. And the crowd chanting no. Bryan running off the corner. Coming climb. Oh, big kicks into the corner. Back off the other apron. Another drop kick to Kofi in the corner. Back off the other corner. And he comes for another drop kick on Kofi in the corner. He goes off the corner again. And another drop kick in the corner to Kofi. And he runs back to do it again. And caught by Kofi. Double stomp. 1, 2. Oh, Bryan kicks out another great hope spot. Kofi, after getting 5 drop kicks in the corner. Oh, Kofi had him. Wow, this is craziness right here. Shame we couldn't do this one live. This would have been fun to have you guys in the live chat, everyone going nuts and having fun with it. Hopefully for Fastlane we'll be able to do something. Kofi now climbing up to the top rope. Looking like he's climbing to the top rope. This looks like one high-risk maneuver that might not pay off, though, if I'm being honest. Now he's begging Bryan to get up. Feels like this could be his moment. Now Bryan gets up. Kofi clapping. Oh, Bryan under the bottom rope, rolls to the outside. Now Kofi with a big kick to the midsection of Bryan. Bryan hitting him in the midsection. Now both guys fighting over by the chain link fence. Kingston throws Bryan in the chain link. Again into the chain link. Oh, and another time. Now throwing Bryan off the chain link fence. Kofi's a man possessed here. Kofi knocking Bryan into the chain there. And now Kofi picks up Bryan. Looks like he's going to bulldog Bryan, but Bryan, ow! Throws Kofi into the plexiglass. Now Bryan is getting Kofi back, rolling him back into the ring. Threw Kofi into the glass that holds up one of the pods. Oh! Kofi was midair right into that plexiglass pod. Oh, and it's like, it really feels like now you could hear a pin echo throughout the stadium. Everyone is stunned silence, waiting for Kofi to get up as Bryan, leveling him up for the yes kick. Is it the yes kick? What does he call that?
For what?
The running knee strike. Yeah. Waiting for it is Bryan, the knee. Gets him, Kofi. Inside out. Flips up. 1, 2. Kicks out! Oh. Kofi, look at the crowd. The crowd probably looks similar to how I look.
That one guy just poured out.
Yeah. The crowd is hugging each other. The Conquistador has his mask off. He's doing the yes chant. Bryan is shaking his head in dismay. He can't believe it. Bryan is stunned. Selling this perfectly. Crowd getting behind Kofi maybe just one more time. Man, if the plan here is for Daniel Bryan to win, then this might be the one time you call the audible, because the crowd is so into this right now. This would be a moment. It would be something to get after here. Bryan now picking up Kofi, getting ready to deliver the stomps to Kofi's chest. Stomping Kofi now in the face while he has both of his hands. Now delivering stomp after stomp after stomp to Kofi. Is Bryan. Goes for a cover again. Kofi kicks out again. Now Bryan is again waiting for him to get up. If he hits this, guys, I think this is going to be all she wrote.
He might be done. He hits it.
Goes for it again, but Trouble in Paradise! 1. Oh, Bryan!
No!
Oh, Bryan reversed the pin, and Kofi gets out of it. Back kick now to Kofi. Both guys are up, but Bryan's going for a crossface. Oh, no, yes lock. Kofi doing all he could to fight through it.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
No,
fighting out of it. There. Kofi's trying to fight out.
The rope's right there.
He's trying to fight out of the S-lock because he knows if it's cinched in, that's it. What a moment. This is a hell of a match. Oh, Kofi reaching for the rope. Can he get there?
You can't tap her quick now.
Oh, he got to the rope. All right, so I'm in full fan mode here, guys. This is good stuff. One of the more fun chamber matches, really, of all time. This might be the best chamber match of all time. Oh, and he hit that Trouble in Paradise. That looked like it was it. Both guys still in this match here, still getting up, are Bryan and Kofi. This is last. I haven't seen the crowd this excited about a babyface
In a while.
in a long time. Yeah, as the crowd is chanting, "This is awesome." People are literally rocking back and forth, biting their fingernails, biting their cubicles. Bryan climbing up to the top rope, but Kofi, big kick, crotches Bryan on the apron. Bryan, though, reaching behind him to try to get back to that pod. Kofi holding his arm here. Now Kofi climbing up. Another right there from Kofi. Bryan now climbing up to the top of the pod. Yeah, this ain't looking good.
Whatever.
Both guys now on the top of the pod.
Whatever happens off the pod might finish it.
Yeah, I agree. Whichever they go. Both guys now up on the pod. Kofi looking down at Bryan there. Big right hands. Oh, taking Bryan's head and slamming into the back of that plexiglass. Banging Bryan's head off the back of that pod. This is now on top of the pod.
No stone unturned at this point.
And now Kofi getting ready. Kofi looking back down at the ring, getting Bryan up for something. Is he going for a big-time superplex? Oh, but Bryan blocks the superplex. Now, but Kofi trying to work on him, trying to get that superplex on. But Bryan now, he's banging, getting out of the finish there. Now Bryan's reversed this. He's banging Kofi's head on the plexiglass. Crowd chanting no. They sense it's coming. Bryan now looks back. He's going for that. Looks like Bryan is now going for the suplex off the top of that pod. No, but Kofi again battles out. Now Kofi working Bryan back. Big right hands from Kofi. Bryan now getting back to where the top turnbuckle is. And Kofi now looking at Bryan, kicking Kofi. Kofi's kicking Bryan while Bryan is standing on the apron. Bryan falls down. Kofi now on top of the pod. Are we going with a little boop boop off the top? If he hits this, I don't think he's gonna.
No.
Big time splash. Bryan moves out of the way.
No,
Bryan is stalking him, waiting for Kofi to get up. If he hits this knee, and I think he will, this should be it. Bryan is waiting for Kofi to get up. Big time knee, flying knee. Kofi turned inside out. And that is it. Bryan retains in a great, incredible Elimination Chamber. You wonder if maybe they could have given Kofi a title run, if only for 3 weeks. That was a great match. And you know what? At the end, people looking like they're about to cry. That was really something where I hope they give you a rematch in a one-on-one at Fastlane. Why the hell not? It's Fastlane, right? I mean, what a fun match that was. And it would have been cool if you could have given Kofi a little something there. Crowd was ready to explode. At the end of the day, they want to make Daniel Bryan the maniacal, evil heel. What better way to do it than to have him beat the guy everyone wants to win? And I'll tell you, both knees to the face, Kofi sold like he got shot in the face. Like, it was incredible. And the clock strikes 12 on the Cinderella story. Daniel Bryan retains his title at Elimination Chamber. Rowan there to celebrate as the crowd looks disappointed, looks like they're heartbroken. And how crazy is this? Because forever, this is the guy the crowd wanted to win more than anything in the world. In Daniel Bryan. And you get there, SummerSlam 2013, I was there live for it. Bryan looks like he's about to win. He wins the belt. Orton comes in, cashes it in. Crowd looks just as disappointed. So it shows how cyclical wrestling is. Here comes Woods and E to come prop up Kofi as the whole crowd is getting ready for a big-time standing ovation. Wonder if they should have just turned the belt there tonight. That would have been the time to do it. Tell you right now, though, if they wanted to really go crazy and turn Big E heel, this would be the time to do it. I'm going to split up the New Day and have something super hot. Have one of these guys lay out Kofi right now. They're both real happy. The crowd chanting, "Thank you, Kofi." Hell of a moment. This was huge standing ovation here from the rest of the crowd. I'll tell you, it does feel. Oh, I thought, oh. Crowd holding the Big E and Xavier down here, holding Kofi up. Shame they didn't pull the trigger on this. Kofi now sitting down on the top step there. Woods and Big E sitting with him. Great moment. Probably would have been cool if we could have had a major celebration, especially you take back 15 years ago when Eddie Guerrero was fighting with Brock Lesnar. No one thought Eddie had a chance to win. And when he did win, it was like this incredible moment where the underdog prevailed for one night. And this felt like the night if they were going to do it, as even the officials are cheering for Kofi here. It's been a hell of a week. It makes you think. Can't help but feel a little bit for Mustafa Ali. You wonder if this was all what they had planned for him, but this would have been the way to do it. This would have been the way to really go for it here. Crowd cheering here. They have the do they do the New Day looking around now. In many ways, it's the biggest spot for the New Day probably in their entire run here. And that's it. So there you have it. Kofi Kingston, great main event. What did you guys think of the main event? I know you guys are a little disappointed here. I think we all wanted Kofi to get the dub.
I liked it. It was really good.
Really good stuff.
Yeah.
And it was cool they at least had Kofi in the final two. And now we'll settle in for Mark Henry's documentary. So thank you for joining. I'm totally kidding, guys. We unfortunately do got to get going. Thanks so much for checking us out here on Watchalong Wrestling. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We'll be back throughout the week with tons of great content. If you get a chance, check out the video I put up from my trip down to Arizona. I'll put up a little fun type of vlog profiling Royal Rumble 2019 weekend. We also did a live stream reaction for the women's tag team Elimination Chamber match earlier today. And we just did this one here. So thanks so much again for checking us out. I am Tommy on the Spot. Make sure you give us a follow over on Twitter as well, @WatchWrestlePod. And for the rest of the night, for the fam here and the crew, we'll say so long. And hope you enjoyed Elimination Chamber 2019.